Welcome to the Kiwimana Bay. Hi there, welcome to our 62nd podcast from Kiwimana here in New Zealand, and welcome to 2015. Yay!
Yay! Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, that's for sure. Well, this week we are going to be focusing on some articles about anarchist beekeeping, beekeeping training programs, and an effective biological Varroa mite treatment that is being researched at the moment that should be of interest. And we are Kiwimana, and we are beekeepers from the hills of the Waitakere Ranges in West Auckland, New Zealand. And our podcast is about beekeeping, gardening, bit of politics, to do with environmental issues, and we've also been known to go off in tangents about other issues. And I'm Margaret, and
I'm Gary, and the show notes for this podcast will be kiwimana.co.nz/62. And thanks for listening to our show. It's been fantastic that you guys have joined us today, and thanks for listening all through the year. We really appreciate your listening.
Yeah, our very first podcast for 2015, so we're really glad to have you along, and thanks for taking the time out again.
Absolutely. And what's been happening at Kiwimana?
Well, in the apiary, we have about 20-odd hives now, from 4 to 20. We've got some at our quarantine apiary as well, so they're all coming along really well, and we've been able to do some splits. And, of course, all the beginner kits are getting ready, and we've had quite a few that have gone off to their new homes, and they all seem to be very exciting and settling into their new areas really well. So we'll keep you posted on those as we go along.
Absolutely, and we went to Hamilton, didn't we? And we met some famous New Zealand beekeepers.
Yes, we did. We met some people who have made an impact in the beekeeping world here in New Zealand. So, very interesting time we had.
Yeah, and we met Peter Molan, who the guy that actually discovered Manuka honey was for medicinal purposes, and also Cliff Van Eaton, who's just released a book about Manuka honey, who we had on the podcast a while back, didn't we?
Yes, it's going to be a very good one to have a look at and have a listen to. So, yeah, and the book that he brought out was awesome, and we talked about that last month as well. So that's all good.
Absolutely, and he even wrote in our book that Kiwimana is his favourite podcast.
Oh, yay! Thanks, Cliff.
And there's a movie coming soon, because we actually got a chance to video the night, so we're going to be releasing that soon on probably YouTube. And possibly a podcast as well. We'll just have to see that works out. And we also met...
Awesome.
Yeah, we also met Lene from Denmark, didn't we? She came to Auckland and to visit us.
Yeah, that was interesting. We got a contact from her saying she was in town and visiting New Zealand, and while she was doing some other work. And, yeah, as a beekeeper, she was, interested in meeting us. So we decided we would go and take her for a tour around Auckland and bring her back to the apiary so she could have a look at how we do things over here.
Yeah, absolutely. And she was there are a lot severe winters in Denmark, isn't it? She was telling us.
Yeah, pretty severe, all right. Nothing like what we go through, that's for sure.
No, for sure. And we've been doing some Christmas work. We've been doing some moving hives. We've been making frames and been making mesh boards today. Happened to...
Yay! A lot of you out there will be really pleased to hear that.
Absolutely.
See, good things do take time.
Yes. We must work on strategies next year to make that better. And also a shout out to India, our niece, who was listening to the show on her new iPad that Santa gave her. So hello.
Hi, India.
Hello, India, and
we hope you enjoy the show.
Yes, absolutely. We hope you do enjoy the show, and we've also been to Wellington, which is New Zealand's capital city, to visit friends and family, and also to meet or to see Jim and Jill's hive set up, and that was interesting, eh? Yeah,
Jim and Jill are friends of ours who we used to go geocaching with back in the day when we were doing geocaching. And that's a really cool thing. You should check it out on the interwebs. It's quite a lot of fun, and it's like treasure hunting for adults, but the family can do it. And we met them, and they've decided to take up beekeeping. So Jim and Jill have just got a new 2 colonies that they've set up, and that was interesting to go and see, his hive stand and where he's put them. So that's really cool. And the other thing is that in Wellington, they've got the biggest beehive of all.
Yeah, because actually in New Zealand they actually call the Parliament building. Yep. They actually nickname of it is the Beehive.
That's it. So
because it looks a bit like a skep, doesn't it?
Yeah, I wonder if they've got Varroa mite in there.
They've definitely got some viruses in there.
Yeah, I reckon, and some threats.
Indeed.
Moving along.
Anyway, it was interesting to hear that Jim and Jill actually they're very into the outdoors, and they actually were listening to our podcast in a tent on top of a mountain. Yeah,
that was very interesting. We're glad we could keep them company while they were on their adventures. So thanks for giving us that feedback, and thank you for supporting Kiwimana for our beekeeping products and everything. So that's really awesome.
Yep, absolutely. And just another issue, we've been approached by someone that's actually a beekeeper that's actually deaf, and they were wondering if we could do transcriptions of our podcasts. So
yeah, this will be a good thing. I think.
So I'm just wondering if you'd find that useful. If you know anyone that's deaf that would like to read the podcast, maybe the interview podcast would be the ones we'll do, but we'll see how that goes. But get in touch if that would be of interest to you, and we'll just see what sort of response we get.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't want to. We'll do that if there's a need for it. We'll definitely be doing it.
Yeah, we're looking into it at the moment, so we'll see how that goes. And give us some feedback at info@kiwimana.co.nz if you want to put in some feedback about that. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely, and you're doing some more beekeeping courses, I hear.
Yeah, we in the adult community education program has come out, and we are listed in there as under general interest for beekeeping, an introduction to the world of. So that is coming up this year, February, and we're also looking at doing some in our local community hall, which is in Massey. So, it's Community House, sorry. And, we'll keep you posted on dates for that. We've already got some registrations of interest, so that's really good.
Absolutely. So if you're in the Auckland area and you can get to the Rutherford High School, you can go along and be part of Margaret's course.
Yeah, and also we just do a bit of a recap on what's going on at Kiwimana HQ. Well, as we've said, the colonies within the Kiwimana apiary have grown hugely, and they keep going because the beginners will pick up their colonies, and then, we build up some more. But the honey flow has just started. It's about 2 months late for us here where we are. But the bees are really making up for lost time, and we've got some queens that I've done from splits that are finally queen right, and they're laying and looking good. So we're really excited about that because those are the Kiwimana genetics, and we're pleased that some of our beginners have chosen to buy their beginner beekeeping kits from us and all their gear. So that's been really awesome. So we thank you for supporting us with buying those products through us, so that's awesome. We've been also approached by a few people to do cutouts, which has been really fun and really interesting, and it's given me some exciting new challenges because I've never done a lot of cutouts, and it's quite time consuming, but I've done 2 so far this year. End of last year. Keep forgetting it's 2015.
2015.
Anyway, and so we're also sold out of all our products basically, and we've got some new stock in. We've got children's bee suits and adult bee suits ventilated, and the bee jackets, and they're all in now. But we've got to get some more stock in for our hive boxes. So those kind of things, we're all organising them, so they should be in back shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to keep the stock coming in so people can buy it, eh?
Yeah, and I think my advice at this time for New Zealand beekeepers is that you should be rotating your honey frames and your frames that are full of nectar, so that the bees keep sealing them and you keep creating space, because we have had calls where colonies are getting honey bound, and that's causing the colonies to abscond because there's just no room for anything. So keep an eye on that, folks, and rotate your frames so that you keep creating room, and the fully capped ones should go to the top boxes, and then you can deal with your nectar as it slowly gets sealed. So you keep bringing that out and adding new frames as you need them.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually was going to split a hive the other day, which we had some photos on Instagram. It's a 2-box hive, and it was completely bedding out the front. And we actually opened it up, and it was very honey bound. There was actually no space at all, so the queen couldn't lay any more eggs.
Yeah.
So we had to add some more frames, and we're going to check them in the weekend, and hopefully we can split that hive.
Yeah, so that is very important at the moment, because you don't want your bees to abscond at this time of the year.
No.
Because you'll end up with an empty hive and, some nectar and no proper honey. So don't forget that the bees need to dehydrate the honey before you dehydrate the nectar, so it becomes honey and then sealed. And that's the best time to take it off if you're going to use it for anything.
Yeah, absolutely, because you need to give them room to work, because they'll probably have about two or three boxes with honey that's been dehydrated, and at the moment there's a massive honey flow on in this area, and there's a lot of stuff coming in. The Kanukas has just started flowering.
Definitely.
There's lots of flowers out there, eh?
Yeah, so there's a lot of frames that I've noticed in the hives that are still full of nectar, and they haven't dehydrated it yet because they're so busy concentrating on collecting nectar.
Absolutely.
I think probably it's in response to the late season, so they are going crazy. So give them a chance to seal up that nectar. You don't want any nectar in your storage. You really want it to be fully capped. And the other thing is that Varroa is starting to appear. So you need to start thinking about your treatments, and you should look at your mite levels at the moment. It's very important here in New Zealand because we have got the height of summer at the moment, and we need to make sure that the Varroa are kept under control. So you will probably be looking at doing your mite treatments in February. So keep an eye on that, guys. Monitor your mite levels, do a sugar shake or do a natural mite fall, and check what's going on in the hive. I've also had a couple of calls regarding deformed wing virus, so you really don't want it to get to that stage.
Absolutely, and a couple of our hives the varroa mites have doubled in about a month, so got to keep an eye on it and keep knocking them back all the time, because that's the best way to do it, is to keep lowering their numbers, and not do a massive attack on them, just to do treatments that maybe aren't 99% effective, but they just keep the varroa mites at a low level.
I think that's a good point. I mean, we use the oxalic acid vaporizer if we're just going to give them a little bit of a zap with the oxalic acid vapor, just to give it a knock on the head and see if that works, because you've got prolific brood at the moment and lots of sealed cells. Drones are actually diminishing in laying, so I'd empty those cells and check out if they've got varroa in them, because that's another indication. So use your capping scratcher to pull out those drones and then see what's in the bottom of the cell. Those varroa mites will sit on the bottom of the larvae. When you pull them out, you turn the the capping scratcher over, and you will see if there's varroa in there.
Yeah, they're very easy to spot on the white larvae, aren't they?
Absolutely, very clear. So those are the things that you're worrying about at the moment. You should have removed all your honey for your own use basically before 31st of December because of the Eaton risk.
In New Zealand, yeah.
In New Zealand, so that's a toxin that can appear in the honey before that time. If you take the honey off after that, from the 1st of January onwards, you need to get it tested. if you're going to sell it or if you have any concerns about tutu bush in your area.
Absolutely, and all our American listeners are in the height of winter, sorry.
Yeah.
So they're probably sitting there reading books and investigating and making frames.
And listening to Kiwimana. Hi, guys. We hope this warms the cockles of your hearts while you're in this deep of winter. And know that we've been having 35 degrees around the apiary at the moment and very dry.
Absolutely. It's definitely shorts and T-shirt weather.
Yeah.
And even under our ventilated suits, we're nice and cool.
Absolutely. So that's all exciting. And, yeah, the bees are absolutely loving it. And the plants aren't because they're just getting really dry. So it's constant watering at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, should we move on to blog recap?
Okay, let's do it.
Blog recap. This is where we talk about the top 3 blogs from the last month and a bit about them. First one, Randy Oliver, Scientific Beekeeping. This was an interview we did with Randy, and that was very popular, wasn't it?
Yeah, Randy is someone that we have met, and we met him quite a few years ago, and I really liked some of his recommendations for an integrated pest management, and also just his method to try and do the beekeeping in a natural way. So I really quite like that. There are some things in this podcast that are created a bit of concern in terms of chemicals and all that kind of thing, but I think at the end of the day everyone's able to form their own opinions. So listen to the podcast and know that there's a lot of valuable information in there, and also a few controversial points that, as Gary points out, create your own decision and email us if you want to talk about it any further.
Absolutely, and a lot of people have, so that's been fantastic. So we've had some great comments, and it's been good.
Yeah, we've had some very strong comments in some cases. So, yeah, thanks for your feedback, people. And we love to hear it. And, we appreciate that everyone has a point of view. And we are here to just present information and, Yeah,
and we present different points of view. And, and we're going to have Tom Farrable on probably the next couple of weeks. So look out for that podcast, and that's another point of view, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's the interesting thing about beekeeping. When you talk to beekeepers, there's always a different point of view.
That's it.
So, just be prepared that we're all going to have different ideas about stuff. And I think often that comes because we're dealing with our bees in our own area or our own microclimate. So sometimes our response is going to be different from how our neighbours might do it or people in other areas. So, just be open to what people present because they're telling you for a reason. So, and then
and try things out on a small scale and see how you get on with it.
Yeah, and take care when you're trying things out.
Absolutely.
Don't do it on all your colonies at once, and Randy points that out on his
exactly.
podcast, so,
try it on a small amount, not a whole lot. And the next one is the Swinging 60s. And we got a comment from this.
Yeah, baby. More babies. Peace, man. Peace, man.
Old Steve Big Nicky has said that we didn't say groovy or cool enough.
Oh, yeah, groovy, man. It's really groovy.
And he said we should have played the Happy Days TV song. But Steve, the Happy Days TV song was from the 50s.
Yeah, far out, man.
So we didn't have any Woodstock-inspired songs there.
No, we didn't. But we did have Austin Powers.
We did, and maybe we should have had some, the Grateful Dead or one of those bands. Jimi Hendrix.
Okay, that's far out.
But we probably wouldn't be allowed to play that, would we?
No, we have to be very careful about what we put out there in terms of copyright. So we can talk about it, and
Yep, I would recommend buying the Woodstock CD.
Especially,
to relive those times.
I reckon that Jimi Hendrix one, that Foxy Lady, that's pretty cool.
It's a great song. And I always can remember the Waynesville version.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Party time. Excellent. Anyway, we digress.
We digress. And the third one is vaporizing varroa mites. And that was about a post that we did ages ago about how to vaporize varroa mites with the vaporizer, oxalic acid vaporizer. So that one's, obviously a lot of people are searching for that, so that's great.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because we've had a lot of inquiries from people in the South Island of New Zealand who are taking on vaporization because the varroa mite has shifted down to the South Island of New Zealand. So they are taking that on board, and the oxalic acid vaporization system is quite non-invasive, so you don't actually have to open up the whole hive to do it, and very effective. So have a look at that. It'll give you some instruction about how to do it. And Gary, you've got a video on that as well, haven't you?
I think so. Yeah, we have on the product page. We do. Yep.
Yeah, so check out the product page for that product, and Gary's got a little video demonstration on how he's done that. And we recommend if you have got an infestation that you do it over 4 weeks. That's once a week for 4 weeks, so you've got a 28-day coverage.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the news.
Oh, one more thing.
Oh, okay. One more thing. Before you treat, make sure you have got a mite problem and check your levels so you get a good trend before you treat. Then when you check your mite levels afterwards, wait about 3 days because it takes a few days for the vapor to be moved around the hive, and then do a mite count about 3 days, Yep. And I always say that with any treatment you use, always do a before and after mite count.
Absolutely. And I think in New Zealand, I say to my beginners, you need to check. So you create trends within your hive so you can begin to learn when it's most likely that you're going to get increase in varroa. Just so you get to learn those trends so you're ready for any changes.
Absolutely. And keep those mite levels low.
Yeah, and do it in a way that it's regular. So if you do a 24-hour count, make sure that the next one is going to be 24 hours as well. Otherwise, you're gonna ruin your measure by creating different times. Absolutely.
Or if you do a 3-day count, just divide it by 3. And that'll give you an average of 24 hours. So you could do that too.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Just do it so that you get to learn what's going on in the hive during the seasons, because like this season's been particularly late. So for some of us, we would be really counting our mite levels at the end of December.
Yeah, I've been doing mine every time we do an inspection, so it's been working well for me.
Yeah,
and
I think that's true. I think with every inspection you should be checking for healthy cells, just a good look over the comb. If you see anything untoward, check it out, and do a full inspection at least once a month, I think.
Yep, and we've also been, a lot of people have been asking on the newsletter if we can do a video of how we do the sugar shake. So I am working on that, guys.
It's like good things take time.
Absolutely. No, that's
so
all
what
good.
Did you get from Santa, Gary? You haven't really talked about that.
I got a lot of underwear. What else did I get? I got some socks.
Did you get socks?
Oh, did I?
Who'd you get socks from?
Oh, maybe I didn't.
What else did you get, Gary? Got a flash new hat, didn't you?
I got a flash new hat.
Gary loves his new hat.
Yeah, and I got some bottles of wine, which is funny because I don't drink wine, but that's all right.
We got a few presents from our customers, which is awesome, and we're very grateful for those things, and we've enjoyed them over the festive season. So thanks, guys. And
that's it. And I've been trying to reduce my chocolate intake.
Yeah, he's been very good actually. So.
Yeah, trying to lose a bit of weight and be more healthy. which is another podcast altogether. But
yes,
it's
indeed. That's like a lifestyle change podcast.
Yeah.
So we can do that. But, it's pretty good. Santa came to us, and then we went to see my son and grandsons, and they're all having a wonderful time. Went camping and got sunburnt because it's very, very hot out there. So look after yourselves when you're working in the apiary, guys, because even through my suit I got a bit sunburnt the other day, and Gary got sunburnt. So
oh yes, that was when I was lighting my smoker without any t-shirt. That was pretty bad.
Yeah. So just keep an eye on out there, guys, and look after your skin and wear your hats and everything. So that's my advice for our Kiwi beekeepers.
Absolutely. Slip, slop, slap, as they say.
That's it. And also this time of the year is very dry, so be careful with your smoker and any of, your matches or your butane lighters, which are awesome. And Gary got one of them for Christmas.
That's right. I got a lighter and it looks like a fish.
I
don't know why it looks like a fish, but it does.
I have no idea. I thought that would be perfect. Butane lighter.
You should have got one that looked like a bee.
I couldn't find a bee one.
Oh, okay. Well, it looks like a fish.
Oh, sorry. Santa couldn't find a bee one.
Right.
Okay, so we'll move along. But you had a good Christmas, eh?
I did. It was great to catch up with everyone, and I hope everyone out there had a great Christmas.
Yeah, and we had a really pleasant New Year's with family, and thanks to those of you who sent their good wishes on New Year's night or morning, it was awesome. So thanks a lot, guys, and Happy New Year again.
Yes, thanks, guys. Let's move on to beekeeping news. Welcome to the kiwimana news.
Doo-doo.
Beekeeping, from news from around the world.
This one's a good one. Anarchist Beekeeping Collective builds a community of urban pollinators. A great story of an 11-year-old's quest to keep honeybees, and a bit about the club, a bit of information about the club he has joined. And I think it's awesome. I think what they're doing is wonderful.
That's right, a young guy in America called Jake, and he's from Carmel. I'm not sure where that is, but he's joined a club, which is an American-wide club, and they do all sort of like beekeeping. I don't know how they meet. How they meet if they're virtual, but anyway, it's great to see young people in beekeeping. So hello, Jake, and I hope you enjoy your adventure with beekeeping.
Yeah, and all the best with your project. It's sort of a cross-purpose thing because it's about entrepreneurship as well. So, I think it's interesting to have a look at young people, starting out. And for 11 years old to look into this, he's very excited and he's preparing, which is a very important thing when you're a beekeeper. You need to be prepared.
Absolutely, and he's spending the winter in America getting ready.
Absolutely, and it's interesting because on this article they talk about some other beekeepers who are getting their backyards ready for. There's a guy here who's got a seaside backyard, so you don't need a lot of space. They're saying in there. So there's all these different microclimates. There's one who has 9 hives, and she only wears a mesh hood. So, it's all good. And just so many different ways that bees can be, kept in a small space. So I think it's fantastic, and we promote urban beekeeping as well. So well done.
Absolutely. And these guys are in Monterey Bay, which I believe is in California, isn't it?
I'm not.
I'm not sure either. But if anyone's out there in the Monterey Bay Beekeepers Club, good on you guys.
Yeah, and well done. We really think that this is awesome work, and keep it up. Awesome.
Absolutely. And the next one is innovative, effective biological Varroa mite treatment This is interesting. This is some news from Germany.
Yeah.
And they're getting the male varroa mites to mate at the wrong time. Could this be the answer to the varroa mite problem?
Well, manipulating the sexual behaviour of a male is always very interesting.
Yes. So basically, they're trying to manipulate the pheromones in the hive or in their breeding cycle to actually make them mate with the females at the wrong time. I think it's actually trying to mate with immature females to stop them giving birth. So this is actually a new effective biological control. I wonder if it's going to be released commercially at some point.
I think they probably will, because a lot of this stuff is about generating income. The thing that I liked about it is that, well, I hope that it proves to be true, but they're saying it's eco-friendly and it's with an organic approach. So I wish all the chemical companies and stuff would look at approaching all their weed management and pest management from a more organic perspective.
Yes, absolutely. So, good luck, guys, with that, and I will try and get some more information about that for you guys if you want some more information about that. It'd be interesting to see what they come up with.
Yeah, it's interesting that they want to have less sex activity with this biological bait. So, it sounds all very interesting, and there's some, it's in German language, but anyway, that will make you aware of some things that are going on, and you can click on the TLB, which is the Technical Licensing Office, where they're doing the tests. So,
okay.
Yeah, I wish them all the best with that, because that would be awesome, and then we could rest a bit easy with our bees. Well, it'd be great.
Absolutely. And the next one is animated pesticide use maps. This is interesting, and some animations of pesticide use in the US in the last 20 years. This is from Tom Faribault from the Boulder County Beekeepers.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah,
it's
thanks, Tom.
Tom Theobald.
Sorry. And check out episode 63 of our podcast, which is coming out soon, where we'll be interviewing Tom. And this has got some interesting animations of pesticide use in America.
I think it's awesome, because you can click on the maps and see which chemical has been used, and it's got clothianidine and the imidacloprid and thiamixthosa, if that's correct, but it's over the period from 1992 to 2011, so it'd be awesome, you know, to see what's happening in America. So have a look at that, guys. It'll be interesting information.
Be interesting to see if that has an impact to the bee decline in those areas.
Yeah, it's interesting. We were talking about it today. In Auckland, New Zealand, we have a super city council, which is Auckland Council, and they have some council-controlled organisations, and one of them is called Auckland Transport. And they've taken over... Yeah, those guys. Anyway, they have taken over management of what they call berms, or the verges of our properties, and they are spraying the crap out of our road verges and edges, and it just looks like a barren wasteland. And I'm just so concerned, because they're spraying near our waterways and the drains, so all that water that runs off is going to go into our waterways, and we know for sure that they are using Roundup. Yeah,
Roundup, and it's right near it's not near our beehives, but it's close to our beehives.
Yeah, as the crow flies, it's only about 50 metres away. So, you know, I think that they need to have a look at their land management. It's a very deep concern of mine, because they're not the only council that choose to spray instead of just manage the weeds in a proper way.
Indeed, and you can actually join a no spray list, but they actually make you manage the whole property, your drains and everything by yourself, which is a bit funny, but
I think it's
we must look into that.
I think it's kind of a bullying tactic. So if you don't want them to spray the crap out of your land, you have to manage the land for them. And they've been doing fine up till now. This is only a new thing that I've seen. and they usually just use a tractor with a cutting system, which is like a big lawnmower, and they would go and trim all the verges and berms.
Exactly, guys. Bring back the lawnmower, get rid of the Roundup.
Yeah, and I think from a manpower perspective, it's just as effective and less time-consuming.
And less harmful to the bees.
And us, because this stuff is going into our waterways.
Exactly.
Anyway, we digressed. What's our next thing, Gary?
15 household uses for honey. This is a great post. And
I love it. I think it's lovely. Alison Martin put this together.
That's right, and some great uses of honey. And did you know it can be used as a cure for the hangover?
Hallelujah. There is a cure out there, guys.
And it also goes well with blue cheese. That could have been some information that people would have needed on New Year's Day, wouldn't it, about the hangover?
Yeah, sorry, guys. It's a little late, but look, we're preparing you for Easter.
Well, I mean, this article was very popular last month or so maybe that's why it was so popular.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So,
it also talks about pimple power.
Yeah, people put it on their faces, the antisepticness of it clears up pimples.
Yeah, because honey is free of bacteria, so I think it would be an awesome skincare, definitely for pimples, and you know, the bonus is that you can still lick it all and, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely yummy. So a face cream that you can eat as well.
That's right. So get into that. 15 household uses of honey. That's awesome.
I like this one. It's a hair helper. Sorry, Gary.
That's all right.
Interrupt you.
Hair helper. What does that do?
It's they say that you smooth the honey over the ends of wet hair and let it soak for about 10 minutes. Then rinse it out as you normally would. So, you know, imagine your showers.
What does that do? But does it bleach the end of your hairs?
No, it's a moisturiser.
Oh.
It's just creating removing the dryness from the ends of your hair. So this is a good article, and it's heaps of uses from hair care to face care to first aid. So
absolutely,
have a look at it, guys. You'll love it.
And I recently saw another article about propolis is actually apparently good for getting rid of baldness. So there you go. Have a look into that.
Crikey, that's a good one. What's the next one on the list, Gary?
The next one is friend of the show, Janet Luke, and how to grow an edible garden without it costing the earth. And Janet has a video here which shares some great tips on how to create an edible garden. And she also has some other great videos, doesn't she, on her site? And I think you can join the site. And we're actually going to be advertising that soon, aren't we? So that's going to be good. And she's got some great videos about how to create gardens, how to make pizza ovens, all these kind of like self-sufficient kind of things. Yeah,
I really enjoy where Janet Luke's coming from, and she is very passionate about what she does. She writes, so there's books there as well. So have a good look, and yeah, if you want to join up and join Janet on her adventures, because she's got some interesting things that she gets up to, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and she's quite into top bar beekeeping, so she'll probably have some videos there about how to manage your top bar beekeeper. Not beekeeper,
beekeeping.
Top bar beehive.
Yeah, we've been working on our top bar, and we put in a small cluster which we found after doing a cutout. And what's happened with them is that they've actually they've got a laying worker, and she started to produce drones. And so we'll get some photos of that, because Gary's going to be doing an article about laying workers and, yeah, what happens when that occurs and what to look out for.
And how to fix it.
Yeah, because that has been quite a problem this year with the queens not being mated in time. And if it's left too late, the laying worker will take on the duties.
Absolutely. So the best thing to do is always make sure you've got a queen right hive, and if not, give them a queen before one of the workers decides to take up the mantle.
Yeah, because she's only going to be laying unfertilised eggs, so therefore she will only produce drones, and, you know, that's just a drone.
it becomes a boys' club, which isn't very good.
No, that's right. That's a boys' club just won't work in this situation.
No, and one thing I've been learning in my research about this laying workers is people think it's one worker, but in a lot of cases it's actually multiple workers in the hive are laying eggs. So
you've taught me something new.
So it's quite interesting. That's coming out soon.
Is that why there's more than one egg in the cell then?
No, apparently that's just they're just not very good at laying eggs. It could be that, and that's why the egg is always at the side, not the end, because their bum's not big enough.
Oh, it looks interesting because the ones that I saw were like all over the place. In the bottom of the cell, there's like 3 or 4 eggs.
Yeah, no, it's not good. It's not good.
So we'll be dealing with that by removing the bees from the colony and shaking them off about 50 metres away, and whoever's left can make their way back to the hive, and then we'll merge it with a fully working hive.
Indeed. And next story, Agribiz targets bright kids. This is a new program in high schools in New Zealand, hopes to gain education approval in 2017. Come on, why not next year? Anyway, and teach students... Well, I think
they probably have to put a good business case together because, with these government things, they have to go through all the red tape and tick the boxes and all that sort of bollocks.
Indeed.
I mean, all that sort of procedure.
This hopes to teach students agribusiness subjects such as...
beekeeping! Yay!
So this is awesome. They can teach kids in school.
It's going to be great. And I think that, you're onto it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to be awesome. So good luck with that. And I hope that it's successful, guys. Yeah,
all the best with that, because I think that we need to get kids connected with the earth and its seasons and everything, because a lot of people who take up beekeeping just don't even realise how important it is to understand the seasonal changes and what that means for the bees. So connecting those dots is part of what we do on the course as well. So awesome. Everything is awesome.
Everything. Oh, sorry. We watched the Lego movie too many times over the holidays.
It was great. The grandchildren absolutely loved it.
Yes, I can almost say the script now.
Indeed. And you should have a look at Elliot. He's a great conformist.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway,
moving along. This next story is from the far north of New Zealand, and it's titled "Ebola of the Bee Industry Has Hit." And
this is very emotive, as a lot of those articles are.
Well, I've got here, lack of responsibility by some beekeepers in the far north is causing an outbreak of American foul brood. Sad news for all the responsible beekeepers in the area. I mean, I wouldn't call it the Ebola, but I mean, and it sounds to me like they've only just discovered American foul brood, but this has been around for a long time. Yeah, I mean, American foul brood has been around since bees arrived here, isn't it? Pretty much, or soon afterwards. But I think they do raise some great points here, that the people up there are just abandoning infected hives and they're not destroying them, so it's causing issues for other beekeepers. So, yeah, this is a bad problem of people neglecting hives, or people that have hives in their back garden and aren't looking after them. Yeah, I think that when you read this article, it's about understanding that with keeping bees, it's like having any animal or living thing that you're looking after, is that there are risks involved. So you need to understand the risks involved, and beekeepers, unfortunately, are the ones who create a lot of disease and spread it through transference by moving hives that are infected, or as the article talks about, abandoned hives. So beekeeper hygiene is something that is really important to understand when you're dealing with different apiaries and even your own apiary, how you can look after that side of things. So this article really is saying that, look after your hives, basically, is in my view. Absolutely. And, have separate gloves and tools for different apiaries.
Yeah, we learnt when we did our course that beekeepers are the cause of a lot of that kind of thing. Using gear that's from infected hives, all that kind of thing. So we with our courses, we talk about how you can take care of those risks and reduce them, and that your beekeeper hygiene is very important, and how you can look after your own apiary, and how you can invite others to your apiary, but with lots of terms and conditions on how they, come to the apiary.
Absolutely. I mean, don't let people come with their own hive tools and their own gloves and stuff. Just get them to bring chocolate biscuits.
Chocolate biscuits, always the way to go.
But not now, because I'm being healthy.
Oh, no, that's right. I'm sorry. I was going along with the flow, but that's right.
It.
Just bring a bowl of fruit.
Now I need mung beans. That's it.
No mung beans. Bowls of fruit, eh?
Yep, bowls of fruit or carrots. Or just come over. No worries.
Yeah, just book an appointment first.
Absolutely.
Happy to see you. Book an appointment.
Absolutely. And the next one is on-the-job training program welcomed by the beekeeping industry. And this is a great new course for beekeepers that involves on-the-job training and classes. So beekeepers don't need to take extended periods off work to complete. It's open for hobby beekeepers as well. So that's fantastic. This is done by the Primary ITO, which is a company in New Zealand, and they're doing that. So that's good news, eh?
Yeah, I think it says here that the Vice President of the Southern North Island branch of the National Beekeepers Association is contracted by Primary ITO to deliver the training associated with this program. So I think it's fantastic, and he's doing AFB and a certificate in apiculture, and it's absolutely awesome. And on the job is always easy. You can actually do the work, and a lot of people prefer to learn that way. So very exciting.
Absolutely, because the alternative was you usually take like a year off work and do the studies, and that's probably cost a lot of money, I'd guess.
Yeah, I think sometimes with a lot of beekeeping courses and stuff is that, you can get overwhelmed with all the information. Then you have to sort of understand it, but you can't always apply it because there's no practical side to the things, and you won't learn that until you start doing it. And then sometimes it can be overwhelming to apply everything you've learned to a practical situation. So the courses that we do are kind of designed so that you can pick up what you need to know on the beekeeping side of things, but then also we do the apiary at the end, and we connect the teaching with the methods. So I think that this will be really awesome and helpful to beekeepers.
Yeah, absolutely, especially if you're doing it commercially. So it'd be good.
Yeah, because there are practices that commercial beekeepers undertake that we don't necessarily support as hobbyist beekeepers. But, I mean, it's all part of, understanding what you really want from your own beekeeping. So, yeah, it's awesome. And, learning everything, from this perspective and commercial ways is a good way as well, because you gain a bit of an insight as to why they do what they do. So, yeah, I think it goes back to what you really want to achieve in your beekeeping.
Absolutely, and if you want to get into commercial beekeeping in New Zealand, this might be a good start. And this has been run by Peter Ferris. He's also known as the Bee Man. So he's been beekeeping for over 40 years, apparently. Happy honeybee apiaries. Yeah, he sounds like he might be a good guest on the podcast. We'll have to investigate that.
Yes, that's an interesting one. So it sounds awesome, and I think, all the best to them in that endeavour.
Absolutely. Now let's move on to questions from you. Questions from you. Can Sally's Aquahair exterior, I think this is PVA, be used on beehives? This has been from Paul in Wellington.
That's a good question, because some people feel that the glues used in the hive can be a bit toxic. What's your views on this one?
I don't think it'd be a problem if it's using the joints and it's not like painted on. I think maybe what you could do is if you have any excess, you'd wipe it off. I wouldn't see it being a problem. I've never seen it to be a problem, but if you guys out there think it is, then get in touch.
Yeah, I think if there's any, it seems quite neutral once it dries. So I don't think there's any ongoing issues with it. And as Gary said, excess use might make it run into the hive, and the bees can't really, they'll just propolyze over it, I guess.
Absolutely. And to wipe it off, you can get like a damp cloth and wipe it, and that'll get rid of it anyway, when it's still wet, I should say. Yeah,
so just use it sparingly. We use it in the joints when we assemble our beehives, and we haven't found there to be any issues or dying bees in our apiary. So
no, but if you've got an opinion, kiwimana, ko.nz/62 and leave a comment. That'd be great.
Yeah, awesome. And the next one that we've got is how to move beehives short distances, and Gary's put together a post on that.
Yeah, we have, and this is from Jamie in Brisbane, and this, I think he wanted to move it between just around his back garden, and we have a method to do that, which means we basically place an obstruction in front of the hive the next day. And that makes the bees reorientate themselves, doesn't it? Yeah,
we use some of our screens to do that, or some people put a branch, or some flowers or something in front of the hive, and because bees are so small, anything in the way will make them re-look at the situation, and always do it so that the first thing they see in the morning before they come out is that new thing. So either late at night when all the bees are in, or very early in the morning before they start to come out.
Absolutely. And if you've got any questions for us, we'll try and answer them. And just send an email to question@kiwimana.co.nz.
We have had questions from people who have been ringing us, and the issues that we've had here in New Zealand is the hives are not queen right, that the queens are not mating properly. So it's been very challenging. So a lot of frames with eggs have been swapped around. You've got to be careful when you take someone's eggs from their colony. You need to make sure that those colonies that they're coming from are disease free, and the person that gives you those frames is fully DECA certified, so that you know that to the best of their ability that those frames are not carrying AFB. So
absolutely.
Yeah, there are risks with doing those kind of things. Probably if you had 2 hives at least, you'd be able to go between them to swap gear, as long as you're confident that those hives are AFB free. So those are the kind of things that we're getting asked about. And of course, splits. Because the season's quite late, we're getting a lot of questions about splits and how to do those splits. But we have got a split method that we use, and I would recommend that you start looking at that when you start the new season in about August.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so, well, if you've got any questions, question@kiwimana.co.nz, and we'll try and answer that and to the best of our ability.
Okay, and what have we got coming up, Gary?
Right, let's get after the musical bumper. Blog post coming soon.
Yay!
That was a tui.
That was our New Zealand native tui. And this bird, you should have a look at it on the website. Just Google tui, or it's a bell bird, or the parson bird.
They call it the parson bird, but I've noticed lately it's been eating a lot of the pahudakawa, which is the New Zealand Christmas tree. It's been sucking the nectar out of the plant. So.
They are such a rambunctious bird, and they're just so awesome, and they are noisy and fun and very protective. So an interesting bird. If you Google that on the internet, you probably find some nice videos or something on YouTube about them. So
Yep, indeed. Well, we've actually got some nice videos, haven't we? But we haven't released them yet. We must do that.
Yeah, we had some of Gary's got a new camera, so we've done a little video on the tui feeding from the Pahutakawa tree, which, as Gary said, is our native Christmas tree. And
watch this space.
Watch this space, that's for sure.
Anyway, blog post coming soon. We talked to Tom Theobald, as we talked about before, and we're also having an article coming out about how to deal with laying workers. And what articles have you got in the plan?
Well, that's a surprise. I guess I'm under pressure.
Will we see an article from Margaret this year? This is the question everyone's asking.
I think the thing is I didn't want to promise anything because I'm so busy doing all my beekeeper services and managing the apiary and doing deliveries and building stock.
Yeah.
And doing the accounts and everything else like that, I rely on my Gary to do that work, and he does that so well.
Perhaps an article about how to do cutouts. Who knows?
Yes, cutouts are interesting, and I've got one that we're looking at doing next week. It's going to be interesting inside a wall of a brick house. So that'll be, I'll keep you posted on that and update you about all of them next podcast.
Okay, that sounds good.
How's that? Is that good? Yeah, okay.
Sounds awesome. We'll expect an article, and all the listeners will listen for that.
Yeah, we're waiting for a video of the one that we did in the old shed. So that was supposed to be coming out
soon. Yeah,
and I'll get some photos as well, so we can have a look at that.
Yeah, because Margaret did a cutout of a hive in an old shed, and it was videoed by the people. So yeah, that'd be good to see, eh?
Yeah, we're waiting on that, and that was really a lot of fun and a good result. And the colony seems to have settled well. So it's all good.
I think that they're brave beekeepers because they're putting boxes on without a bee suit.
Yes, very brave. Anyway, more about that next time.
Anyway, let's have a musical break and we'll be back with feedback from you guys. Feedback from you guys.
Can I just say that we had some feedback from... because we sell beekeeping supplies, and Gary has designed and built a lot of the products, and because of the extraordinary demand, we thought we had enough stock, but we've sold out of most of our stock lines this year that Gary has made, and it has been quite difficult for us to keep up with all the orders. So, we apologise for that, and we are working on that this year, and, the frustration is that people want these products, and unfortunately we have those things as kit sets at the moment, and they're being assembled. So, thanks for your patience, people, and, we do appreciate it, and we do aim to get everything out to you. But this year we're looking at some other processes that we can take on so that we can avoid that next year.
Absolutely. Maybe,
oh no, this year, 2015.
Maybe we'll both have full-time jobs at Kiwimana.
Oh, that's the dream. And if you'd like to be a benefactor or a silent partner of Kiwimana, just contact us at info@kiwimana.co.nz, and Gary would look forward to chatting with you about him leaving his job with the man.
Indeed, that would be great. But anyway, let's...
and we're going to set up a product which is called donation. So if you'd like to make a donation to help us with our beekeeping work, please do so. And it goes through PayPal, or you can do donations through direct bank transfer. So, yeah.
Okay, we'll look at doing that.
Happy to receive anything. Awesome.
Absolutely, and this is now going back to feedback. This is from Ingo in Wales. He goes, keep up the great podcasting and say hi to Margaret. And this is what he calls you, the mighty mite monitor, from me, because he knows you like counting mites.
Yes, indeed, and thank you, Ingo, for your comments. And, hi back, and, we keep up those mighty mite monitoring activities.
You're inspiring people around the world to count mites, so good on you, Margaret.
Thank you.
And the next one's from Chris Brown, and he's actually a New Zealander living in England. And he says, the Kiwimana Buzz podcast shines a light into my grey, dark world. Tales of beekeeping from NZ. He's put an accent on there.
That's a cool one.
Makes me miss the bees already. Keep it up. Oh, that's great, Chris. Thanks a lot for that.
Thank you, because we did spend a few years over in the UK, and it gets pretty dark about 3 o'clock in England.
In the winter, it's horrendous.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty dark. So we understand exactly where you're coming from, Chris, and thanks so much for taking time out to listen to us, and we hope you enjoy the light.
Indeed, and just be aware that we're getting sunburn, and it's so hot here, Chris. And I know that the English winter's not much fun, but
we've had 35 degrees and sunburn, and we're eating tip-top ice cream,
drinking pina coladas. Anyway, enough about that.
Oh yeah, so thanks, Chris, and if you ever come back, come and visit us. Come and visit us.
And no iTunes reviews this week, so if you on iTunes and you'd love to review us, kiwimana.co.nz/iTunes. We'd love to get your reviews, because the reviews really help us spread the word about the podcast.
Oh yeah, and the word we are trying to spread is learn lots about beekeeping, participate in helping the environment, encourage people to garden, have bee-friendly plants and trees, and just connect people with the earth and the seasons, and the health of the world is really dependent on keeping these natural things going, because otherwise we could be in trouble. So keep up the good work, guys.
Absolutely. And our contact details are our website, kiwimana.co.nz. And you can email us at info@kiwimana.co.nz. And we also have a weekly newsletter. And
it's bi-weekly now.
Oh, no, we've gone back to weekly.
Oh, okay. Gee, you forgot to pass that on to me. Jeez Louise.
Well, it's weekly or bi-weekly. Sometimes it isn't. Depends on what season it is. Depends how many beehives I'm looking after.
We had to reduce the workload a bit because it's been quite busy. So we hope you enjoyed the content that we put out. And on the 12th we're back at work.
Yep. Well, this is coming out on the 15th, so we'll be back at work.
So
now. Anyway, the free newsletter is at kiwimana.co.nz/sign up.
And we'd love to hear any comments when you join up. A lot of people, when they sign up, send us a question, or they want to know some information. So we'll happily respond. And
and it's good. And they tell us what they're trying to get out of what's their burning questions and what they're trying to learn. So
and I think it's good.
I mean, it helps us produce content that you guys are into. So
it also gives us, opportunities to think about things again, because sometimes you're so busy doing stuff that you forget about some of the things that might be going on for beginners. And so keep those questions coming in, because it does help us very much to keep up with what's going on out there. And we hope that you find value in what we present and enjoy.
Absolutely. And if you enjoy us, subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher. That'd be great. And you can get the podcast straight to your phone or device. So, and I think in America you can even get cars now with Stitcher radio, so you can actually just listen to the podcast in the car. Isn't it amazing?
Oh, awesome. I mean, there's some really cool stuff out there, guys, that make life so easy so you can enjoy yourself. And we even have beekeepers who listen to us while they're doing their inspections and their apiary work. So, awesome.
It's right. And people do their gardening. Hi, Matt. Gee, we know you do your gardening and listen to our podcast, so that's fantastic.
Awesome. So, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining the Kiwimana Buzz. And, get in touch. And we're happy to help.
That's right. So that's the podcast. But the After Hours bonus is a great little song from the Room 3 honeypots at Avalon Primary School, and they actually won an award for this video. It's called Being a Honeymaker. It's a great little rap video about bees and their benefits to the world. And
they won this by presenting it to the National Beekeeping Association on their Bee Month. So well done to them, and you guys will absolutely love it. It's really pretty cool.
And the video is pretty funny too, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, thanks guys for listening again, and tell a friend about our podcast, and we'll see you next month.
Yep, see ya.
I'm a honeybee, what I do will affect ya. Pollinating fruits while I'm drinking up the nectar.
Golden black suit, see me flying to connect ya. Undercover flower lover, planet protector.
I'm a discoverer, ecosystem governor. Helping grow the land, so there's food for the fam. Corn for the man, berries for the jam. Fruits on the trees and honey for the bee.
I'm a honeybee, what I do will affect ya. Pollinating fruits while sipping up the nectar.
Nectar, nectar, nectar. We the bees knees. Buzzing, 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 no pesticides, please. Skeleton hits the gun, I'm living like a champion. Look at go back home, making honey in our comb.
We dance to communicate, cutting ships like figure eights. Telling all my bee mates where the flowers concentrate.
I'm the buzzy honeybee, opposite of lazy. But pesticides, they chain me, making me go crazy. I can't fight the daisy.
You know we don't like pesticides, they are killing all our tribes. Splitting our unity, stopping our reproduction, upsetting our function. I'm a honeybee, what I do will affect ya. Pollinating fruits while sipping up the nectar.
We the bees knees. Buzzing, 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 no pesticides.
No pesticides, please.
Take up the power by chilling on the flower to suck up the nectar. My sting will affect ya. Yeah, that's right, we sting. Feeding queen, royal jelly, always clean, never smiling, spreading good vibes through everyone's life. Without us, trees and plants will die.
I'm a honeybee, what I do will affect ya. Pollinating fruits while sipping up the nectar.
We the bees knees. Buzzing, 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 no pesticides, please.
No pesticides, please.